Hello, everybody. Me and Simon are going to talk about our journey at Spotify, and especially how we set up our CEO team for success, which took a while, but we will guide you through this. So first of all, Spotify in numbers. I'm sure everybody knows Spotify, so I'm just going to show you a couple of numbers. First of all, right now we're active in 79 countries, and our latest addition is India. We started about 1 month ago. We started in India. And we have 207 million active monthly users across all our platforms. And with an active user, we mean a user that actually streams a song every month.
And we have about 96 million paying subscribers on any paid plan we have. So if you do some easy data crunching, you figure out that Joost has horrible music taste. And if you check his LinkedIn, you'll see that he has some knowledge with GA, AdWords, and conversion rate optimization.
Yeah, so at Spotify.me, you can see it on the left corner. You can find out your own musical profile. So I found out I'm 50% more energetic than he is, for example. So, the scary beginning of our journey at Spotify. Hopefully nobody's afraid for clowns. It started in 2016 in Stockholm. This is also where the headquarters of Spotify actually are. It's actually being built somewhere where you can see the cranes there. That's where our headquarters is these days. So I was actually supposed to optimize the checkout, and I was going to do that through own experimentation. I was going to do that through optimization projects, and with optimization projects, I mean bigger web projects to optimize the different flows, how people should pay, and help research and development to prioritize their experimentation. So then came the reality check, my first day at Spotify. So during my very first meeting with my very first most important stakeholder, the following thing was said. Your position does not exist. So she obviously didn't get the memo. And my boss was actually on a 3-month parental leave. That's what happens in Sweden. Actually, 3 months is very short for a Swedish person to take parental leave. And there were no external tools available. So we used to have Optimizely, but actually the marketing team, they used it as their local CMS, and R&D decided to just kill it all. So after the first day, I was like, okay, where do I actually belong in this organization? Like, how should I position myself, and what should I actually do? So R&D was really protective of their website because they thought that was what they actually owned. And all the stakeholders wondered why I was taking over all the communication with R&D. So to R&D, when I said I wanted to do experimentation on the web, it probably sounded like this. Hey, you, someone that can't really code, want to run experiments on our website that we own. We don't believe you have any QA in place, so you're going to screw up. And therefore, your experiments are going to cause a massive mess. And this will mean a lot of extra work for us, because we will need to clean up all the mess that you're actually going to make. So what were going to be the next steps? How are we going to create from a bunch of golems a nice working environment? So we first needed to do some proper groundwork there, which we actually did. So how are we going to get all our stakeholders on board? So the first thing we did, understand your stakeholders by understanding their key metrics. So by understanding their key metrics, what was important for them, what were their key results, what were they working for, was actually really important, understanding on everything also what was on their list of things to do for 2017 and 18 and so forth. And finding out their pain points. So one of the pain points with R&D, for example, was the code that we were putting on the website. So what we did there is that we actually, every time when we publish a test, we send the code to R&D and we let them check it with thumbs up, or whatever is wrong, we fix it. Then it was also really important that our stakeholders, that they understand us, so they become our ambassadors. At a big company like Spotify, there's a lot of lobbying going on. And the more ambassadors you make, the more they lobby for you. So you can actually do your experimentation and don't need to spend all your time in meetings, what I anyway need to do. And then the other thing, make sure that your stakeholders understand that you are not only pushing their agendas, that you are independent, so that you're critical of any idea that actually comes in, and that you're not just some kind of marketing tool for pushing out a lot of campaigns, for example. So how to achieve autonomy? And why is autonomy important for a CRO team? Because we want to publish as many tests as we can. We want to operate at speed and at scale. So how to create an awesome task force? First of all, make sure that development and design are actually embedded in the team so that you have these people on board of your own team so you can do a lot of design and you can do a lot of development. I'm sure Amy agrees with this. Use proper copywriters so your tests have the same quality as the actual text that is live on your website. Use proper data analysts and engineers so you're sure that your data is correct, because without correct data we can of course not call if a test is actually a winner. Make sure that everybody on your team is technical and data driven. Like, they don't always need to have worked with CRO, but make sure that the designer does data driven design and that the technical person also has a data driven knowledge at least. So the personality traits of the team. Since we're working with a lot of domains that are not ours and that are owned by other teams, it's important that people are humble, but also persuasive in their ideas, and that they can actually tell other people like, hey, this is why this is a good idea, and this is why we want to work with your domain. Different personality types. So if everybody would be the same, every meeting would be a yes, 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 I think that's a great idea, that's a great idea, and yes it is. But in our case, we have a lot of different personality types. So sometimes these meetings can be very annoying and very, very long, but we do come up in the end with great solutions because we don't agree on everything all the time. Talk both languages, and with both languages, I mean the language of R&D and the language of business. So be able to talk both languages, you will be able to get the assurance from R&D that you understand what their needs and what their pain points are, and vice versa when it comes to business. So when it comes to Simon, he is actually the closest to R&D that we have in our team. That's because since his childhood he has been coding and making websites. Since his music toys has nothing to do with techno, I have no clue what it is about. And he has some experience with CRO, not that much.
So we kind of are an autonomous team. We have the stakeholders on board. Our team, we're 4. Half of us are on stage, a third one in the audience, other one on vacation. And Spotify is a massive company, over 4,000 employees. We have like over 200 million monthly active users. So there are other people that are doing experimentation and conversion rate optimization, but our team is just focusing on this. This is our full-time kind of job.
So what we're doing is continuous experimentation and redesign of our conversion funnels and driving change to convert more users across all of our premium products.
That sounds like really boring business talk to me, so let's try to break down that a bit. So not only that we have millions of monthly active users, we have even more visitors to our website. So how can we utilize that in try to improve our conversion rate? So in practice, that means that we need to run a shit ton of meaningful experiments. And like you see that we're all about stock photos, like in all presentations, so why not throw in a cheesy quote as well? So if you want to increase your success rate, double your failure rate. So we have this website. So we need to fail fast. This is Joost failing, we're crashing a car under a team activity, and then we need to repeat this. So how does this translate into conversion rate optimization? So let's apply some sort of framework into getting this going. There are a ton of different like optimization frameworks out there. Pick one. We're using this by Sean Ellis and Morgan Brown. It's a great introduction to conversion rate optimization. But it basically boils down to this. So we're trying to get all of those free users into becoming paying members. So we start off analyzing data, generating ideas, prioritizing them, we're testing them, and we start over. It doesn't really matter what method you use. It needs to be agile because you need to move fast. And what about the meaningful part? So in order to throw something meaningful onto the website, because we won't really make the cut by changing button colors, you might have seen experiments like that, you need to prioritize, and you need to be harsh. We use the ICE method. There are other methods out there, but it's about importance, confidence, and ease. Let's look at them. Importance, does it move the needle, your KPIs? Does it change the user's behavior? Confidence, is it based on data? Does it rely on some sort of well-established principle? Is it like a UX pattern, or is it like a psychological principle, or something else? Ease, like how easy is it to build? But also, how realistic is it to be shipped? So if we do something, like we don't want to ruin our time and then go to R&D and they're like, okay, can you build this? And they're like, no, it takes 2 years. So we need to prioritize. And when it comes to experiments, it doesn't need to be perfect. It only needs to be a like minimum viable experiment. You need just to prove your idea. So let's try out one of these principles. So here, we're going to try out the Hobson +1 choice effect. So we want to avoid some sort of take it or leave it situation. So we have a landing page here. You can get Spotify 3 months premium for $0.99, and you can learn more. Or you can hit the back button. So what if we introduce a learn more and the get offer button? And yeah, we changed the background colors to match the rest of the campaign, bad readability, yes. And because we're Spotify and have a lot of traffic, and for whatever reason we had 2 landing pages explaining the same offer, let's try it out. So we have the control, we have the variant with 2 buttons, but going to landing page A and landing page B. So control variant going to landing page A, variant 2 and variant 3 is going to landing page B.
All right, so now we're asking you, the audience, which one do you think will be the winner? So I'm first going to say control, and then just make a lot of sounds if you think that's the winner. And the same with variant 1, variant 2, and variant 3. So let's try it out. Control. Yay. That's not a lot of people. Variant 1. Yeah. Variant 2. Yeah. Variant 3. Yeah. Variant 3?
Yeah, variant 3. Okay.
Yeah, variant 3.
So it turns out that we had 2 winners, and we had a 3% increase in conversion rate just by adding an extra button. Doesn't really sound that much, but for a business at scale, that's a lot. So when you run an experiment, you really need to understand why it's winning or why it's losing. And apply, so you can't just take what we just showed you and apply it to your business. You need to understand the underlying principles. So read books. Here are a couple of my favorite books.
Yeah, and if you then work with well-established principles, like for example these ones, you will also get the trust from, for example, R&D, because they will see that you actually are working with well-established teams. They see the common thread throughout all of your experiments. So what happens then is that like, they see that you're not just testing all over the place, and that you're just doing something here and there. Another thing is like you will actually improve your conversion rate if you do things according to a certain theme.
But before you begin and while you're doing it and all the time, get your data right, because otherwise everything that follows will be crap. And since we use Google Analytics and Google Optimize, everything needs to be correct because we're relying on that data. When you get your data right, you can plot out the typical conversion funnel like this. So we have a landing page where you can go premium and be happy, and you hit the button, and then you go to a login or sign up page, and then you go to the checkout where you can put in your credit card details and have an order confirmation page. And then when you look at the data, you realize that it's not your most important funnel. There are better ways for us to convert a user, which is probably we have upsell ads, or we have the reduced navigation bar here with 4 icons, which one of them is premium, which you have like a native landing page. And if you click the button, you go straight to the checkout. And of course, we run experiments in the checkout as well. And this is the checkout for UK, where we have the default payment method is carrier billing. So basically, you pay your Spotify subscription with your phone bill.
And carrier billing is by far the most expensive payment method for us. So we really prefer people actually to pay with other payment methods.
So what if we just change the default? Because we know from other research that defaults are really, really strong. So we put the carrier billing in the 2nd position, or we put it in the 3rd position, or you see these small dots here? You can expand and see even more payment options. So we can put it there, or we can remove it completely and see what happens. So again, we have the control defaulted to carrier billing. We have credit card defaulted in all the variants, but we have it in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and completely removed.
Yeah. So you know the drill already. Control.
No, no one. Okay.
One person. Variant. Sorry, we're measuring here conversion rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this,
Yeah.
This is a trade-off, so
Yeah.
what's your weighting?
Very good question. We get to it. No. So variant 1.
okay. Yeah.
Variant 2. Variant 3. And the last one, variant 4. All right.
So, great question. We didn't see any change in conversion rate. But it turns out that if we look at other metrics, it was really, really, really good, this experiment. Because we increased our lifetime value, so it's cheaper for us to have a user paying with another payment method than carrier billing.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Why LTV increase? Because the payments from the card go automatically?
Can you ask that question again into this cube?
Do it.
It's not just a cube, it's actually a mic. Because there are people who won't be able to necessarily hear you. I'm going to throw it, so if I hit you, I'm sorry. Throw it on. Or slowly pass.
So to answer your, do you want to repeat your question?
Repeat question.
Thank you for your presentation. And my question was why the LTV increased in those 3 cases, as my the hypothesis is probably there is automatically payment on the credit cards compared to the other payment methods.
So with carrier billing, so when you pay with your mobile phone, it's also recurring. They're both recurring. But there is a difference in retention, like credit card does retain better than carrier billing. So that does also affect lifetime value, not only the cost.
So the results, we flip a lot of users from using from carrier billing into other payment methods, yeah. And we got a lot of help from our people in finance to map out those. So let's zoom out a bit and focus not on conversion rate, focus on other business metrics that might be more important. And after your experiment, try to document what you do and try to build up a repository with your learnings, because if you run more than like 10 experiments a year, you will forget what you have done the year before. And it makes us standing here showing off whatever experiments we did a year ago. But also share your learnings. So if you ask the copywriter or developer to check your code, feedback the learnings to that person in order to create a buzz and get people engaged in this.
Yeah, so how does it actually work out for us?
Wanna?
Yeah, that actually worked. As you see, we don't even have 2016 here because it was too low to actually mention. So in 2017, our test reached 9 million users. We did 21 experiments, in other words, less than 2 experiments per month. And we had a 33% win rate. So 1 out of 3 experiments actually made it. But then, 2018.
We had over 177 million users in our experiments, and we did about 160 of them with a massive improvement in our win rate by applying this kind of failing fast framework that we just talked about.
Are these numbers for your team?
Yes,
Yeah.
only for our 4 people.
Yeah. So, in 2018, we also have become the authority for experimentation on the web at Spotify. So R&D asked us to do experimentation now for and with them. We are involved in every major new initiative on the web. So when it comes to new products or whatever we're going to sell, we always consult it in one way or another. And design, so that with that I mean the bigger design teams at Spotify, they see us as an equal partner. So when we want to get feedback on our designs, we go to them, and vice versa. They ask us, is our design data-driven, for example? And we are asked to build whole new funnels instead of just doing experimentation. So that's what we do now as well.
So it turns out that we're so successful that there is some sort of rumor going on that we can increase any campaign landing page with 10%. So these raises complete other issues for our team.
Yeah, so one of the issues we have nowadays is that we need to say no to a lot of incoming requests, actually to, well, I don't even know the percentage, but a lot of them. So therefore, we're hiring. And I don't know where my boss is, because we also want to ask for more headcount. He is here somewhere in the audience. Did he not? Yeah, he said yes, right? Yeah. All right. So then the keys to our success, just to summarize it all together: get your data right. So that should be actually the first, second, and the third place. Be independent and autonomous. So with independent, we mean like that you're not working for another team only, that you don't push somebody else's agenda. And with autonomous, that you have within your team, that you have all the capabilities to do your own testing. Experiment at scale, so you can fail fast. You only have the room to fail if you experiment a lot. Use well-established principles, so you are testing according to a team. And last but not least, use local domain knowledge. I mean, we can dig in data as much as we want to, but a lot of people do know better their local markets or have more domain knowledge, for example, when it comes to payments than we have. And that's it. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have time for one question and one, yeah? Just one. Just one, yeah?
Okay, here we go.
Hi, thanks, and awesome presentation. So you guys said that you guys are the authority on web, but
Yeah.
what about app?
So
'Cause I hear optimize, but what do you use for app and test the same thing?
yeah, so so as I said, there are hundreds of people working with A/B testing within Spotify. We have built our own A/B testing platform for partially for the web and also for the app. But our team is completely detached from, largely from the rest of the organization. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks.
Cool. Thank you.